Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to European Racing Series Tier 2. And we're round number 7 here at Monte Carlo for the Monaco Grand Prix. It's been on the calendar since 1955, first opened in 1929, and it's been widely considered to be one of the most important races in the world. It's one of the races of the Triple Crown. Along with this was the Indianapolis Indy 500 and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Both of them have happened already. Monaco hasn't happened in real life, but it's going to happen here in Tier 2 European Racing Series. It's a track where everybody wants to win, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these drivers are going to do. My name is Jess, and I'll be one of your your only commentator, as per usual. So, let's go through the standings before we head to the race. So, Alex Bitto leads the championship with 109 points. And it's 11-point gap over Maranello Baby in second. Third place is Cryptic with 91 points. Fourth place is JQR with 48 points, which is Dragon. Fifth place is TX606 with 38 points. Sixth place is Pazik with 28 points. Kalusa in seventh with 24 points. Eighth is Sig with 22 points. Ninth is Riser with 17 points. And 10th is Burke with 14. 11th is Nixana with 12 points. 12th place is Max with 9, joint with Higgsy. 14th place is Verbal with 5 points. Not 5 points, what are you on about? And we got Seth and a few other drivers yet to score. So, without further ado, we are going to kick straight on with qualifying, as I've got the game sound sorted now. And we're going to go straight with the racing, and look at this, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely chucking it down in qualifying. Heavy rain, and it's meant to get really worse towards the end. So, typical as Monaco being one of the trickiest tracks on the calendar, they have to drive in this wet weather. But according to our weatherman, our weather forecast, it's meant to dry up for the race, which is good news. And my controller has just disconnected, so what I might do, actually, I've got a plan. I'm going to just use my keyboard because, I like using my keyboard. So, I'll use that instead because I'm on PC. But anyway, so, we've got a few people on laps at the moment. And I think we expect to see a few invalidations. Now, the track is 19 corners long with 7 to the left, 12 to the right. And the perfect lap on this plate has got to exist. It's one of those tracks where qualifying is probably one of the most important of the season. And if they don't get it right, then that is very, very interesting. There, as Pazik has just spinned it in the tunnel there. I'm just trying to figure out where it is. The Nouvelle Chicane, just past the tunnel. So hopefully he gets a bit of better run in the next lap. So I'm trying to find someone who is on a lap at the moment. Let me just see. The reason why we started a bit late was our current host, which was Bitto here. He forgot to press choose a car, unfortunately, and press spectate by accident. But luckily, we've got the lobby underway and we're all good and ready to go. So I'll go on board with... I'm just trying to find someone to go on board with a hot lap, but it seems to be everybody seems to be invalidating. So maybe Pazik may be the best option. Nope, he goes into the pits as well. Typical. So a lot of people I know is going into the pits. As Sig, there we go, is about to start one, isn't he? Or is he about to finish a lap? He's about to finish a lap around this circuit, so he comes across the line now. What the time is going to be? A 1:28.0. And if the track is going to get worse at the end of quali, then expect to see, I think, in my personal opinion, expect to see a lot of people going out now. And if they don't go out now, then it's going to cost them later on in the session. So do watch out for now. There's a few people I think has just left the session, not entirely sure about that. Now, a few people can actually go on a few extra laps on those wet tyres due to the fact that it's going to be a wet qualifying session. And a few people on their out laps. I can try and go on. I need to try and go on board with someone, but it's probably not going to let me. So hopefully I will be able to soon, as I did see someone about to start a lap. Who was that? I think that might have been an Alpha, or it might have been just my imagination. Now, a few of the guys, Sig, he scored some points last week, did very well. He scored P7, and sometimes you have to capitalise on other people's mistakes, and that's exactly what Sig has done as he goes into Raskas now, turn 17. And then going into turn 18 and then into turn 19. There's a little bit of a kick there and a little bit of a swerve. So I don't think he's going to improve on his lap time. Yes, 129.929 for him. So let's go on board with Set, actually. Nope, he's about to... Actually, no, let's go on board with Bosnick. We haven't gone on board with Bosnick for a long time, so we're going to do that right now for a hot lap. So here it is, in the wet conditions, a hot lap around this beautiful circuit. So the first thing you're going to do is go through Sandevot. So the first lap, you're going to part of the track, you're going to tackle around Monaco. You need to slow to third gear, and it's the only DRS zone on this track. So you're now going through Boulevard Massenet and heading up to Casino Square coming up now. And the braking points again are a bit different. So in the dry, the red crane is what you'll be aiming for at this little section, but heading into the Mirabeau is something completely different. When you pass the bump in the road, it's much harsher than it appears, and obviously quite hard to navigate. For some of the setups, I think for the majority of the drivers, they'll probably be going full lock. Just past the hairpin now, it is a nightmare to get right eventually. And now you're heading towards Nouvelle Chicane now, turn 9, through the tunnel. And then siding your car up at the inside is very tempting, but you need to be alongside as the apex of turn 10. It's quite tight around here to manage. And now he goes through near the swimming pool section, just past the back. And then into turn 13, into 14 and 15 coming up soon. And it's not a best lap for him, but it's much better compared to everybody else. And let's see what he does as he comes across the line to finish his lap time. So let's see, what can he do? It is a 127.243, which puts him in P8 on track. Dragon is currently on pole position with a 124.548. And then in second place, we got Sig with a 125.0. There's 5 people yet to set a lap time, and some of these guys, I think we just got to keep a more close of an eye on compared to the other guys. And let us know in the chat as well who you think is going to be doing well in the race to come as well. Now, this guy made his debut last week in the Ferrari. He's now moved to the AlphaTauri full time. So Zoro and Verstappen have made the switch permanently now. So in a way, I was speaking to him last week about the change, and to be honest, even though he got DNF last week, he was a bit happier being in Tier 2. He's got a lot more to prove, as TX has just retired from the session. And look at the puddles as well. I don't know how Verstappen tried to avoid that, but you know, the puddles can catch you out around here. Luckily, it's not going to rain in the race, luckily. So that's something for the drivers to be very relieved about, as Verstappen has just invalidated his lap time. So unfortunately, he's not going to be setting a lap time around this circuit. So he comes into the pits now, and he's probably going to have a few more laps in. Now, don't forget, in this wet qualifying session, these tyres are going to be a lot different to manage. They only have about 2 wet tyres to use, fresh, in this qualifying session. So they've got to use it wisely. Maybe that's probably why a few of these guys are using the wet tyres for a little bit more than usual. Sig was running 3 laps older tyres. whereas Verstappen was running 4 laps. So then when it gets to the end, then they could use it a lot more. And because they're not using it in the race, they've got nothing to lose. So what can you do? So that is what these guys are going to be trying to do for the remainder of the session with 7 minutes left to go. Now, I did see one of the racing points go purple in sector 2, which is good news. So there he goes through Raskas. We'll see if he's found some time now. He navigates the final corner really well, actually. So let's see what he can do. He comes across the finish, just past the finish line, and he goes into P5 with a 1:25.310. Everyone has set a lap time now, so it is all down. Pure skill now. And another thing to watch out for, setups. I was commentating on the race yesterday when it was a wet qualifying as well. And the very tricky thing is, will you risk your qualifying and have a dry setup? Or will you risk your race and have a wet setup? Maybe have a little bit in between so it can handle the wet in qualifying and it can handle the dry in the race. That's probably what I would do. But again, it's not up to me. It's up to the drivers. And I can actually tell you what the weather is going to be like for the race, as the lovely drivers have given a lovely screenshot. So the race is meant to start cloudy with a bit of sunshine at the start of the race. 20 minutes is going to be sunny again, and 45 minutes is going to have a few more clouds. So technically it's going to be clear for the entire race. So that means a lot of people are going to be trying to go, or maybe the softs for quite as long as they can, but don't forget the softs don't last very long either. It only lasts 13 laps, and the deltas around about 6/10 between the softs and the mediums, and between 1.8 seconds between the softs and the hard. So a big difference, but if you handle those hard tyres well, it could work to your advantage. Now, I have seen people pit around lap 10 before on the softs, go to the hards, and then do very well in the race for the win. But they've got to be a little bit more of a risk taker. They've got to be cleaner. They've got to be practicing more and got to make sure that they don't get damaged, because otherwise going on the hards is meaningless for these drivers. So Kalusa is just going past. Can't remember what corner it is from. Let me have a look as I try to scroll up, but it's not letting me scroll up, which is very annoying. There we go. It eventually let me scroll up as you just passed Milburn now and into Portier going into turn 8 and now going through the tunnel of turn 9. So he's got to find pretty much a few seconds to get pole position. Now, the one thing I've realised is I think every session I have commentated this week, the laps are not popping up on the bottom. So I do not know why. So that's something I'll need to figure out for the remainder of the season. And a lot of the crowd is having a little bit of umbrellas right now. And if I was them, probably going into the pits now and then waiting for a few more minutes, put less fuel in, and then try and get your final lap in. Or maybe do 2 laps because you don't use as much ERS in the rain. So Kalusa goes in into the pit lane, and he is going to go on for one final lap. And he just read my mind. Yeah, he just read my mind there. So, typical, eh? So, 3 minutes left to go. Bitter on pole. He is looking to score a much better lap here as well, I think. He is on a hot lap because he's on hot lap mode 2, or ERS mode 2. Don't forget, if you are new to League Racing, they don't have much ERS choice in the race. They only have the overtake button to manage the ERS button with. The rest of the game manages the ERS for you, and fuel management comes even more important, as well as tyre management as well. And just look at the sound in the tunnel. The sound in the tunnel sounds pretty cool, I have to say. And I think we could see a few validations in the race. Penalties may come into place here. So I've just seen a tyre in the wall there on the track there, and a bit more rain coming down. So Yeah. If I were them, and Dragon's on pole, 1:23.7. Let's see if Bitto could do any better. And a few supporters for a few people in the chat. It's a 1:23.6. That puts him into pole position. Well done to him. We got the two Alfa Romeos going out of the pit lane, going together. So I assume they're working as a team. We got Sig in fourth, going together as well. Only one person could not sell lap time, and that is TX, who has retired. Everybody is going out. Verstappen's going out. Set's just gone out as well. And we also have Valu, who's out just past the tunnel section. Bosvik, unfortunately, can't improve on his lap time now. Bosvik's got a lot of work to do. Bosvik was not particularly happy about his results last week, but he is quite confident that he could get a much better result this week and show us that he deserves to be in this tier. Valu in 13th place. I do believe he's one of the Red Bull reserves, if I'm not too mistaken. He comes across the line now, 1:27. So I don't think he does improve. So usually when I get my predictions in for ERS, usually it tends to not go well. Usually they bin it, and especially around Monaco. So I'm going to try and make a prediction and see how it goes. But it's probably not going to end well. So do watch out, guys. As Ryzen has retired, so Ryzen's not going to get pole position. As Dragon, he might have hit the tyre barrier there. It's very tricky, that corner in the wet, and still the wet tyre is there. And another hit in the wall for Dragon. So I think that is his qualifying session done and dusted, sadly. Higgsy is in third place. He's got one final lap to do. So is Sig. So is Paddock, Kalissa, and Ben as well, who's just about to start one. So, is anyone going to improve? Now, if they don't get a good qualifying session here, it's going to be a little bit trickier for them to gain position in the race unless people make mistakes and get damage. I think that's what a lot of people are going to be relying on at the moment as Dragon has retired. Well, not really a surprise, to be honest, as he binned it quite a few times. But it's going through the swimming pool section now. You can see how much spray it is on the track at the moment. And we're going to see who is going to reign supreme around this Monaco Monte Carlo circuit as Burt goes into the pit as well. What about Bitto? He goes past the casino and into the Mirabeau. The Mirabeau Bass, as it's called. And Higgsy had invalidated, so he can't improve. What about Kalissa? Kalissa goes in at 2P6 on track, so that's pretty good. Next, I think, to come across the line is the AlphaTauri driver, and he invalidates, so he's going to have no better than P8. Set, unfortunately, cannot improve either, so it's just leaves Valu, who is going towards the swimming pool section now. And it's called the PC, for those of you that don't know, because that is what swimming pool is in French, as he pulls into the side of the circuit, and that means that is over for him. And Nick Zana, as I'm trying to find the F8 button, there we go. Nick Zana is the only man that can stop Bitto get pole today. Has he done enough? No, he hasn't, but he has improved to take 13th place. So all we're waiting for now is waiting for Valu to retire and Bitto to retire as well. So we're just waiting for these guys. And I believe Bitto's still on the lap. I mean, it's glitching for me, so I do not understand. So it may be a host glitch. I'm not entirely sure. But he's still going, even though he crossed the line when the checker flag falls. So that might be an issue there, but we will keep our fingers crossed that it doesn't cause any trouble with the lobby, because we do not want a lobby restart like we did earlier on. I do believe there was a patch as well for the PC, which was a little hotfix. Wasn't quite sure what the hotfix was about, to be honest. Bitter had it anyway, so technically he could just bin it and retire from the race, and that's pretty much it. But no, you're not allowed to do that in ERS. Yeah, but he's cutting the corner. He's a bit of a show-off. He's showing off that he's got pole position. Come on, mate. Please do retire as he does go into the pits. Now, the interesting line you took there. It's a glitch in the game. Yeah, I had a feeling it was a glitch in the game. So, as he retires very quickly, and we are about to start the race then. So, Bitto is on pole position with Dragon in second, Sig in third, Higgsy in fourth position, Pazik in fifth, Kalissa in sixth, Ryzen in seventh, Verstappen in eighth, Burke in ninth, Hydrodan in 10th place, Set in 11th, TX in 12th, Nixana in 13th, Valor in 14th, Bosvik in 15th. So, yeah, that is understandable, Bitto, and that was what you were meant to do, so fair play, fair play. But at least you were showing off your car in the wet conditions, showing off how good you can do, so it's a win-win situation for you, showing off your, kind of like a victory lap, in a way. You could have done donuts, though. But anyway, jokes aside, we are going to go to the race. It is sunny in Monte Carlo. I nearly said Paul Ricard. I was not meant to say Paul Ricard, but it is Monte Carlo. Paul Ricard not far from Monaco. And I think a lot of these guys can agree with me that their favourite street circuit is Monaco. Probably the less hard compared to the other ones. Vietnam's one of the hardest. We've also got Baku, which is next week, I believe. So Baku's going to be interesting. We've also got Singapore as well, which is another street track. That's going to be later on in the calendar. So, something to be wary of. As we wait for all the drivers to ready up. Hopefully, the likes of Hydrodan get some points for this race, because he's the only one who is racing tonight, as well as Sat, who has attended every single race, almost, and not scored a point. So will he be able to score some points today? Only one way to find out, eh? So, let's look at the tyres. Now, one advantage is they get free choice of tyres. So a lot more people going for the alternate strategy here today. And these are the following people that have done that. We have Bitto on the mediums, Dragon on the mediums. We've got Higgsy on the mediums as well, Kalissa on the mediums, Ryzen on the mediums, Verstappen on the mediums, Burke on the mediums, Hydrodan on the medium tyres. And we have got TX on the mediums, Value on the mediums, and Bosvik on the mediums. People on the soft, we've got Sig and Pazik. And also, we've also got Set as well. And on the hards, we have got Nixana. So, just a quick reminder, these hards can last around about 30 laps. So not quite the whole race. Actually, no, not 30 laps, 36 laps. The mediums can last 29 laps. So, if they had damage, just say lap 4, lap 5 onwards, they can try and get the hards to the end of the Grand Prix. But it's going to be a very difficult task due to the tyre temps. And you can see medium to hard is going to be the most popular strategy today. Laps 20 to 30. So a big pit window, but they can last up to 30 laps. So what can you do? So once again, Bitto on pole position. Didn't quite get the win last week. Man, hello baby got the win last week, but he's not here tonight. So who's going to get the win this week? We shall see. 39 laps await our drivers. Let's see who is going to win today. I know I keep saying that loads of times, but I'm excited for this race to begin. Here we go then. The 5 red lights coming up on your screen at the moment. And it is lights out, and away we go. Great start for Bitter. Also great start from the two Haas cars, actually, going into towards turn one. The Racing Point almost didn't have a good start there, as let's see what is happening into turn one. Looks like they're all going through okay so far. Not much damage. A little bit of ghosting going on, which is due to the spectator glitch, which I do apologise. I can't do anything, as Burke has got some damage. I think a few people got caught up in some damage there. So a bit of a shame now. That drops him, I believe, to 10th place. And we've already got a safety car in this race. So what will these guys do? I know quite a lot of people on the mediums will be opting to stay on the mediums. But how many people on the softs may go onto the hard tyres and then go on the soft to the end? It depends on how many softs they got as well. So strategy is going to play important at the moment. So they're now going to be forced to go into the deltas now. Quite a few people, such as one of the Racing Points, is going to have to pit again. Actually, no, he doesn't like he's got damage. No, it was Mercedes of Burke. So Burke will have to pit, and I think a few more people will have to pit. I don't know how a lot of people avoided that, but it must have been a record. Safety car, lap 1 in Monaco. And also, let us know in the chat how many safety cars we could see in this race, and quite a lot of people are going into the pit lane for damage by the looks of things. I think everyone is going into the pits due to damage, unless Sig is going onto the hards. So that is intriguing. Maybe he wants to try and get the hards as far into the race as possibly can. And don't forget, the pit loss around this circuit is 18.5 seconds. So you're going to lose so much time if you pit so many times. That's why I'm in the commentary box, really, more than racing. Because I do better in the commentary box. And if I was racing in Monaco, I would probably die and retire. I think majority of Monaco races for me just does not go very well, unfortunately. But obviously, these guys drive on a regular basis. They know what to do. Well, hopefully a majority of these guys know what to do. I think the only ones that didn't get caught up in this chaos was Bitter. Now, let me just check the pit stops, because you can actually check the pit stops now in the race director due to one of the new patches that came out. So, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people pitted for front wing damage. That is a lot of damage there. 12 people out of 20. No, 12 people out of 15. That is just insane. Or is it 11? Oh, yeah, it is 11 because we've got 4 people still on the racetrack. Bitto, Jagan, Pazik and Ryden, the only drivers to not pit and keep out of carnage. And ideally you want to be starting either at the back or near the front, because if you're in the middle, you're almost going to guarantee you're going to be involved in some carnage somehow. So Bitter is going to effectively be the safety car later on. And just an interesting fact, around 66 Grand Prix have been held in Monaco. Unfortunately, there wasn't a Monaco Grand Prix this year due to COVID, of course. And to be honest, for me, I was very gutted that Monaco was cancelled this year, because Monaco is one of my favourite races to watch. Some people probably won't agree with me, but it is. Remember the Lewis versus the Verstappen battle that went on for so long. Lewis managed to get those tyres, those medium tyres on for so long, held up Verstappen in second place, and it just worked wonders. So I wonder if we're going to see a similar thing tonight. And the safety car is in this lap. So here we go then. We are about to kick off with some racing once again. So, who is going to be the one that does well in this safety car? Now, Bitto is not holding up the field. I thought he'd be holding up the field, but he wants to get on with his race very, very quickly. And that's caught a lot of people off guard. So we are underway. We are green flag racing. So the top two doing very well. But Nixana and Set trying to do a battle already, heading towards turn one. I think they managed to do it all right. A few people have been gaining from this safety car mess as well. Verstappen up into P7. So that has helped him as he's overtaken quite a few people on the restart. A few people have dropped positions though. Kalissa's dropped down 4. Sig has dropped down 3. Higgsy's dropped down 1. Set has dropped down 2. And Hydrodan has dropped down 4 places. So those are the people that have lost out in this Monaco battle so far. And you can see the top 3 are just running away with it at the moment. You can see the gaps. They are getting quite bigger and bigger at the moment. You can see one of the first races where a majority of the people were lapped. Will get lapped, I mean. So this is going to be intriguing to say the least on who's going to be surviving. Who is going to take the gamble as Ryzen goes into the pits again? Has he got damage? Oh, he's got a 5-second stock go. But I assume he's got damage as well. Yes, he has. So that pit stop's going to be extremely long. And that puts him all the way down in last place. And speaking of lapping, he is definitely going to get lapped very, very soon. Bitto is probably just enjoying being in first, but Dragon is finding a few more temps on the Bitto heading towards the tunnel. So maybe he's got better straight line speed. Now in a few laps time, DRS will be enabled. Obviously, usually it gets enabled in lap 3, but due to the safety car playing a little bit of havoc on lap 1, then that is why we have got no safety cars. Meanwhile, Nixana in P10 at the moment. He's about 1.7 seconds behind Kalisa, but he's got Valu chasing down his neck. You've got to be around 3 temps, 2 temps around this circuit if you want to be ahead. And we're on lap 6. DRS has been enabled. So, Bitto's out of DRS. Dragon has got DRS. So, as long as he stays within a second, he should be absolutely fine getting towards the tunnel. Whereas the likes of Pazik, Higgsy, Sig, Nixana, Valu, Set, and Ryzen, they're going to benefit less from it. Meanwhile, Bosvik just right on the back of Hydra. Maybe Bosvik could go for the risk here into this mobile chicane. Nope, he does not. Doesn't want to take too much gambles because you don't want to lose your front wing. And you don't want to pit again. So, and to be honest, that's a good risk to take. And I do believe he's probably ghosted, so he might have DC'd. Meanwhile, we've got a crash. And that was the Alpha Tauri of Verstappen. Hold on a second. As he drops down. I think he binned it in the tunnel. Oh, I think we'll probably see a few people bin it in the tunnel today. So that is a shame for him. He was looking to redeem himself after a horrible race from him last week. He felt like he could do better. He spun it in turn 5 last week in Spain. And he was worried that I might jinx him again. I think I might have jinxed him this week, but not entirely sure. But he's going to continue, go into the pits, and go on to the hards. No, mediums actually, mediums. Okay. Medium tyres he goes then. So I'm guessing he probably wants to go on the softs at the end so he can go for the fastest at that point, which is, I think, understandable, to say the least. Dragon found a few more temps on Bitto that lap due to the DRS that is coming into force here. So I wonder then, is Dragon going to get the move that he desperately deserves? He's winning the detection point. He's got to enable the DRS very, very quickly on the straight. Because if he doesn't, then Bitto is just going to run away with him. No tomorrow, like no tomorrow, like no tomorrow. And so he's on 5 temps now. But now Beto's gaining on the corners, especially around the casino section. That is where Dragon has been losing time. Has it, meanwhile? 6.9 seconds, now 7 seconds behind Dragon. So his tyres, I don't think are going up to the task at the moment, as Dragon and Bito are definitely on a league of their own right now. Kalissa and TX having a little bit of a fight, as well as Ixana. So TX is technically the trolley train of all this, as he starts the battle of glory. Let's see what TS can manage. He's got to keep to the right, I think. He's catching up to Burke as well. So Burke could be the leader of this trolley train if he is not too careful. And Burke definitely wants to get as much cleaner air as he possibly can. So if I was Burke, I would get a move on, because otherwise you'll probably lose not 1 but maybe 2 positions. Meanwhile, Kalissa goes into the pit lane to change his tyres. So what tyres is he going to be on? Let's have a look. He is going on to the hards, and he is changed from front wing. Hans Bosvik has retired from the session. That is in the pit lane, I believe. And remember, the rules of the RS is that if you do retire by choice, you retire in the pit lane, and that's it. If you retire anywhere else, unfortunately, or if you retire on track, unfortunately you would get a penalty, just like other leagues. Meanwhile, we've seen our first penalty come out, as Bosvik has left the session, and we could see Bitter and Dragon think about pitting in around about 5 or 10 laps time. And Pazik will need to think about pitting very soon, because he was the only one on the softs that has not pitted. So Pazik doing very, very well, keeping things under control. TX, I believe, has pitted again. Another front wing change and another stock go too. We have seen a lot of speeding in the pit lane penalties here tonight. So that is very, very sad, but to be honest, I find speeding in the pit lane quite common actually around this circuit for me. So I think these drivers, will probably have to manage it quite a few times if they're not careful. And the speed limiter is definitely different around Monaco, so don't expect it to be the same on every track these guys go on. And who are we waiting for to have a little bit of a battle? Set maybe as well on Valu. Well, like I said earlier, Set hasn't had a bit of luck this season. Set got a P16, then a DNF, then a 14th place as someone has binned it, and that's Burp. I'll go through that in a minute. So Set has had a P16, a DNF, a 14th place, a 16th place, a 13th place, and a 16th place. Hasn't been in the point all season. The only time he got close to it was in the Netherlands a few weeks ago. Unfortunately though, his teammate will have to go into the pit lane, and his teammate Burke has unfortunately decided that enough is enough, and he is going to retire. Which is really, really sad. So we're already down to 13 drivers, which means more of a chance for these drivers to get points. And if you lose out on points around here and you finish, then you're probably going to be feeling really, really guilty about it. So these guys have got to work extremely hard to make sure that they're going to be the ones to get some points. Paddock now in third. He's definitely dropped a bit, so he might have had a few spins, but I don't think it was any damage that was caused there. Sig as well, doing not too bad. Haven't had many troubles since the safety car period. Nixana, not doing too bad either. And these are the ones that are going to benefit towards the end with attrition. This is definitely a race full of attrition. I have got to say that. I can tell you that right now. But anyway, we're seeing Dragon. 6 temps now. His ERS looking pretty good, whereas Bitto's is running out. So Bitto is probably really worried about his situation at the moment and is thinking, hang on, I need to push, but I can't afford to be losing ERS. You're not losing European Racing Series, but losing the battery deployment. That's one thing I've got to be mindful of, is to be wary of those tires. Meanwhile, has it gone on the mediums? Now that is a bit risky, but due to the fact that there was a safety car, the medium compounder tyres can get to the end of this race. 29 laps. And we're already done. We've already got less than 29 laps to go. So, Pazik is going to be on fresher tyres and make sure he does well. Whereas a lot of the other guys, they will have to go onto the hards. So has Pazik done the strategy of dreams to potentially get a podium here at European Racing Series? You'll never know. And welcome to those of you that just joined us. This is European Racing Series. And we hope you're enjoying this so far. Because I'm enjoying this. It's been a lot of fun, to tell you the truth. Bitto, he's having a whale of a time and could be extending his lead in the championship. Meanwhile, Ryzen and Set were having a lovely battle, going side by side there. And Ryzen is now up into 8th place in this race. And he's going to be doing absolutely fantastic to make sure that he keeps 8th place in this race. And despite the fact that he's pitted twice already, he's not doing too bad, but don't forget he does need to pit again. And it is getting brighter. It's almost past the 20-minute mark, so it is going to get very sunnier, and therefore the track and the tyre temperatures are going to be a little bit hotter. So the drivers are going to be very, very worried. And meanwhile, we got Pazik and Nixana hanging about in the tunnel, taking a lot of risks here, going into the chicane, and I think they just about hold on. Meanwhile, Ryzen and Valu trying to go for moves as well. And I think that's the only corner I think you can potentially do an overtake. But usually when I battle around here, I usually get really scared to do a move around here. So, yeah. I just get a little bit worried, but, you know, it happens sometimes. It does happen. Here we go, Set going for a move once again. He's going to try and defend to the inside, which he does. Valu has to concede the position, unfortunately. Valu stays in 9th place. Meanwhile, 5 temps separate between Dragon and Bitto, and the lack of ERS from Bitto I think is going to hurt him at the moment. And due to the fact that Dragon's on DRS for quite some time now, DRS could be an important factor. And don't forget, I believe Bitto's got a penalty. Dragon does not. And usually I'm a person that does not take penalties. that does not actually look at penalties, I mean. So, this is something to be wary of. So, Bitto needs to get it into a 3-second gap. If he does that, he will win the race. If he does not, Dragon will win the race. So, Bitto has got to time his pit stop to perfection here. But I'm sure Dragon is going to be liking the pressure of fighting Bitto at the moment. As does a lot of these drivers as well. They would want to be in that position. But unfortunately for some of these guys, they'll have to live with it. Maybe some of the other guys are trying to stretch those mediums so they can go onto the soft compounder tyres at the end. The optimum lap pace, lap 28, I would say, for the mediums. So as long as they keep it in the wall, they should be fine. And they probably won't touch the hards at all. But it does depend on their tyre temperatures if they can stretch out those mediums. And already we could see a few people getting lapped already, I think. We're almost at a stage where they're about to lap the AlphaTauri guys. So where is Verstappen going through just past the Nouvelle chicane? Yeah, it is getting to that stage at the moment. Very interesting. 3/10 is the gap now. This does remind me of Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen's battles. I think it was last year. I can't remember. Someone will probably remind me in the chat if it was last year or not. But we will see. But the only difference is both Bitto and Dragon are on similar length of tyres. Kalissa has dropped down into 11th place as TX has got past. And look at that train. We have got from, I think, Valu in P8, Hydra in P9, TX in P10, Kalissa in P11. This could be a battle and a half. And I do believe that the team bosses over at McLaren, Mr. Zach Brown, of course, has informed the drivers that they have been allowed to race. And that's the important thing right now. They've been allowed to race, which, to be honest, for these guys, I'm relieved about, as a lot of people getting caught up there. Valu almost getting caught up there, as well as Hydra Dan has lost it, and he is down to P11. So that means Verstappen's well on the back of his gearbox at the moment. Hopefully no incidents there, but knowing these guys, they can both show some pure respect here. And I think they're managing it nicely at the moment. And we can see Kalissa. We're already gone ball with Hydra Dan actually, but we are seeing Kalissa just trying to defend for all his worth at the moment. And if he nails it correctly, then this is going to be a great race for him. Not many penalties either. So if I was Bitto, I'll be getting worried, but you will still be getting a podium due to the fact that everyone else is further away, of course. I do believe Bitto and Dragon are the only ones yet to pit, but they're the only ones that started on the mediums that are still going. And we're about to see, out of these top two, who is going to be the one who's going to be blinking first, as Ixana has got a 3-second time penalty there. Now, Ixana, if I was Ixana, probably keeping away from penalties will probably be the best thing. Because Ixana's best finish was in Australia and in the Netherlands. P7 in both. And all the races have been sunny, I believe, according to the standings. But I'm sure we had a little bit of a wet weather somewhere, but it might have been just me imagining things. And if these guys don't handle Monaco very well. Just wait until what the drivers have in store for Baku. As I'm taking a few sips on my drink at the moment because I am quite thirsty, but 7/10 is the gap. Bitto has realised Dragon is pushing, and Bitto has been told by his engineer that it's hammer time, where Set is staying out. TX is pitting. No, not TX, Ryzen. And I do believe it was another front wing change. Let me have a look. Race director. Pit stops. Let me scroll down to it. Scroll down. Yeah, front wing change. Pazik was the only one that's pitted that didn't have front wing change. And meanwhile, Dragon has just lapped his teammate. So we're already at that stage already. The people are getting lapped. I did tell you that it could happen, and I was right. And I'm going to make a bold prediction. I am going to make a bold statement, but I think it's going to rain. I think it's going to... Actually, no, it's not going to rain. I think it's going to have a safety car. Oh my goodness. Did I time it right, or did I time it right? Oh, that was a bold prediction. I said there could be a safety car, and there is, as Valu has retired from the session. If you don't tell me that's good, then, you know, then you're stupid. Joking. Anyway, here we go then. So Bitto has got a free pit stop, and he's got a 5-second penalty. That's going to play really well into Dragon's hands. A lot of people will be double stacking though. The Dragon will have to wait for Ryzen, so he's going to get held up there. Bitto on the softs. That's a bit too early, but we will see. If anyone does not pit now, I'll be really surprised. Higgsy in the pits, and the Haas cars will have to double stack. And I think Pazik will have to... Oh, no, I still see the pit window option pop up there as well. And I don't know why that window has just popped up there, but oh well. But there goes Pazik. And I think the double stacking is not too bad, actually. And Dragon getting held up was not a bit big of a deal. So everyone is coming out. And a few people are not going to benefit from the safety car because you're not allowed to unlap yourselves. And that is a big danger because you're going to get caught up in traffic. Luckily, the ghosting system is on anyway. Oh, why is Dragon being allowed to overtake? Oh, was that Ryzen? Oh, so was Ryzen allowed to overtake the safety car then? And Ryzen's been disqualified. So probably that was something to do that as well. And we're going to see who has played their strategy cards right. Is it Bitto or is it Dragon? Now, Bitto hopefully has got enough soft compounder tyres left, because otherwise he's going to be on the ones he used in... Well, the fact is, there was no qualifying in the dry anyway, so maybe he does have enough soft tyres to last. So he could do 2 soft stints and pull away and try and get that gap stretched. You never know. Dragon on the hards wants to get to the end of this race. Higgsy in 3rd place, Sig in 4th, Pazik in 5th, Set in 6th, TX in 7th, Verstappen in 8th. Nixana in 9th place. Kalusa in 10th. And Hajadan in 11th. That is very, very interesting. So the safety car not coming in this lap yet because a few drivers still having to catch up to the safety car. Nixana has to pit again, which I do believe was for damage. I do believe that was for damage. So that is costly for him. And Bitto, he's going to be relieved that he's on the safety car for one more lap because his soft tyres are going to be quite warmed up and they're not going to be using as much tyre wear as if you were racing. So Bitto is going to be less worried, whereas the other cars behind him are going to be more worried. Ben is in the pits as well. Again, I do believe that was for damage too. Let me check race director. Let me go to pit stops, which is F6, I believe. So, yep, oh, no, it's not. It wasn't for damage then. So, I'm guessing he just wants to be on fresher tyres. I don't blame you, but I'm guessing maybe he had nothing to lose because Nixana was behind him anyway. And he thinks that the safety car is going to go out a little bit longer than usual. But however, you never know. You never know. I'm going to predict that the safety car is going to come in this lap. Hopefully I get that prediction right. If not, I'm going to be made like a complete fool. There we go. Safety car in this lap. But, however, it is to be expected. Bitto is going to control the pace now. Hopefully, he will learn from what he did in the last one and try and hold up this field a little bit. Which he does. He is managing the field a lot differently compared to other tracks. So here we go. We're about to start lap 25 of 39. And Bitto gets a clean getaway into turn 1. So does Dragon, so does Hixie, so does Sig, so does Paddock, so does Set, so does TX, and Verstappen is right on the back of these lot. The AlphaTauri is starting to gain some ground. It is far from over for him. Will these fresher soft compounder tyres benefit him? He's got to afford to not take any risks here. Dragon, I think, getting distracted by the ghost around here as well. So honestly, I would be worried of that, but obviously, luckily, the ones that are lapping the lapped cars, they could just go through them. Otherwise, it would have caused quite a few issues around Monaco, to tell you the truth. So anyway, Bitto's lead is 3.3. Already at the stage where his penalties are pretty much cleared, apart from the stock go, I believe, that he still has yet to serve. And Bitto's showing that he can set the fastest lap of this race. Hixie, though, has got a lot of work to do, and Set is going into the pits for another change in front wing, I believe, and he goes on the soft tyres. To be expected, really, for Set in 9th place at the moment. And I wonder who is going to be taking the most advantage now. The gaps, due to the fact few people were lapped, that is why the gaps were increased for them. But from the top 7 upwards, they're all on the leading lap. So they still got a chance to fight for the race win here. All 7 cars. As long as none of these guys make mistakes. So TX is definitely going to be under pressure a little bit here. So let's watch him at the moment. We haven't had much onboard shots at the moment. So here we go. Here is a little bit of a on-board shot with TX. And we will go on board with Verstappen actually, as he's going to try and get past as well. Less ERS, I think, compared to TX. How much did TX have? TX had 80%. So he was saving. So he could defend for his life by using the overtake for quite some margin, whereas Verstappen has to do a little bit more saving if I was Verstappen, but there you go. But anyway, a few of the guys will be worried, a few of the guys will not be worried. And I think a few things to watch out for, especially in these final few laps. Definitely, I think, through the pool section where you can possibly cut the corner, turn 15. Turn the Nouvelle chicane is a possible cutting spot. Turn 1 and 2 as well. As long as they don't cut those corners, they should be absolutely fine. But we have seen a few penalties already. And again, I do not want to be spoiled by that. And let's hope the ones who still yet to pit don't get any 5-second penalties. And we're going to see then. Almost 12 laps to go in this race. And I need to stop saying this. I'm going to see them. But the race is far from over. We can still see people making mistakes. And we can still see people not making mistakes. And a bit of a look up from Dragon. That's probably gained Higgsy more time on those fresher mediums. But there is a danger that the mediums may not make it. Or could be at a hotter temperature. So get your vote in the chat on who you think has surprised you maybe. Who has been your driver of the day. And I wonder who the game is going to give driver of the day to. That is my question. But only one way to find out is to stick around until the end of this Grand Prix. And I think Bitto is running away with his win. He's trying to get rid of that 5-second margin, but don't forget he's still yet to pit. He's got to make sure he gets within 18 seconds with no damage before he goes into pits. Otherwise, Dragon is going to walk comfortably with that race win. But you never know. Never say never. Anything can happen in Formula 1. And these guys are proving that anything can happen. So, we're almost on lap 30 now. And Cam is predicting, well, Shapeshifter guy is predicting trying to probably predict that there's going to be a spinala. There could be a spinala, but I'm not going to say anything else. And if there is a spinala, then we're probably going to blame you, Cam. So, yeah. And unfortunately, I do not have sound effects enabled on this stream. But anyway. Let's jump on board to the mid-pack now with Pazik. 7 tenths now. Separating between these two now. And I'm super pumped to see how this goes on. And we're seeing a little bit of Pog emojis as well going on as well, but we shall see. But anyway, 5.2 seconds now is the gap. Hydrogen, 3 seconds. Time penalty. So more penalties starting to come into fruition now. But Hydrodan, I think, will probably be a bit worried at the moment. 7.5 seconds. Between him and Kalissa, and I think he's going to probably stay in 11th. And something that I just realised as well for these guys, only one driver will not get points, and at the moment it could be Hydrodan. Intriguing. So Beto still leads from Dragon in second. I wonder who's going to have the most to gain from this situation. So who has gained the most so far in this little battle? So the one that's gained the most is TX. 6 positions. In Verstappen in 7th. Gained 1. Nixana in 8th, gained 5. Set in 9th, gained 2. Higgsy, gained 1. Sig has dropped down 1. Kalissa's dropped down 4. Hydrodan gets dropped down 1. Everybody else, Bitter and Pazik, has stayed where they are. And I'm a bit worried Bitto's tired is not going to last. But when will Bitto think about pitting? If I was Bitto, maybe I would potentially pit. I would think around about lap 34, I would say. I think that will probably be the best situation for him. If he stretched out for longer, he's probably, I think, going to be in punch territory. And we're seeing a little bit of a Supermaxes in the chat there. Well, that's kind of a bit intriguing now, God to tell you the truth. But Supermaxes, unfortunately, I think there's no Red Bull, so they're we shall see. And I'm a bit worried that I thought there wasn't going to be any more crashes, but there isn't. I think our commentators cursed him. Set has binned it. No. He's binned it and he's going into the pits. But at least he could go for fastest lap, but I do believe he is going to be a lap down. Lepson said he will finish on those red tyres. But according to the tyre data, it only lasts 12 laps. So, considering that the tyres may last a bit less time, I don't know. But we shall see. We'll have to find out. .4 seconds now is the gap. I don't think Bitto is going to be doing enough to get the win, because the crossover point will potentially be there. Bitto still has that 5 seconds. It's going to be a tough call for the Renault driver just to manage that. But I think he's going to be doing a Lewis Hamilton. He's going to do a Lewis Hamilton and he's going to make it to the end of this race. I'm going to call that right now. Meanwhile, Higgsy, he's comfortably in 3rd place. He's got a lapped car of set to worry about. I think everybody, apart from the top 7, has been lapped. So, you'll probably be comfortable if you were the 7. But anyway, These guys, I think this is just turning into, a bit of a possession race at the moment for a majority of these guys. We got another yellow flag. And that was set to 1. Niksana, it was set to 2 actually. He's retired. That might be, I don't know actually what's happened. But Ben is going into the pits. Oh, for a change of soft tyres. Well, you got nothing to lose. Really, to be honest. And it's a safety car. So, a third safety car. Ooh. That is very interesting. And Ben got held up in the pits by quite some margin there. So, I wonder if he's going to get lapped. Let me have a look. Leader. No, he's not. So, I think a few other guys will be pitting as well. Bito has been very, very lucky there with that safety car. He was hoping the safety car was going to happen. And it happened. Typical, eh? But Bito's got that 5-second stop go. Dragon doesn't. Dragon is staying out though. Dragon is doing a bit of a gamble here. And Kalissa has got a 5-second penalty. So I wonder which strategy is going to pay off here. No one can't make mistakes here. So Bito drops down to 5th place. But he's going to be on a much faster tyre. And it's going to be hard to overtake. Oh, I'm not sure if he's done the right thing. But I will keep an eye on that. I'll keep an eye on that. Very, very interesting there. And someone actually saying in the chat that he shouldn't have boxed. Maybe. But the thing is, if Bito didn't box, he would have got a puncher. I'm almost certain he would have got a puncher. So I think there could have been a bit of a danger there. So getting a point though is better than scoring no points. Dragon's going to be fine on the hards. Yes, I agree. But Bito would rather get 10 points than no points at all. And probably Bito was saying, oh, Bono, my tyres were gone maybe. And he's probably going to kill me for saying that. But, you know, I have said it. So end of. But anyway, we are about to start lap 37. And the only ones that are going to benefit from this safety car is the top 7. Zet, Hydra and Kalissa, they are stuck in this traffic jam that they've got to worry about. There's literally so many things that has happened in this race. It's just absolutely incredible. So I think it's going to be very, very intriguing, to say the least, for the entirety of these guys. Who do you think is going to win? And yes, Cam, there is another safety car. And you only just realised that. You probably disappeared into the stream just for a little bit, and then you just saw there was another safety car. So, yeah. A lot of things happened there. A lot of things happen. And Cam is predicting Dragon is going to win. Well, personally, I think Dragon's going to win as well. But we will see who is going to be the one that shines here in Monte Carlo for the final few laps. Dragon is leading the field away. It was Bito that was leading the last 2 safety cars. And now it is Dragon Meanwhile, Dragon gets a very good start into turn 1. Already pulling away by 1 second. Bitto is not getting the jump that he would have liked at the moment. And it's going to be very worrying for him. I'm a bit worried for him that he's going to take so many risks. And that might cost him a few positions. Callisto and Hydrodan had a little bit of an off. But here comes Bitto around the inside. And he gets P4. Brilliant stuff. And the advantage of those people on the soft tyres, we can have some racing going on. But again, it's hard to overtake. You know? Only one way to find out. We will see. Sig is trying to get the place back. We've got a yellow flag. That is, I think, the Toro Rosso. According to Toro Rosso. AlphaTauri. So he's lost a bit of time. I think he might have lost a bit of his front wing as well. But Dragon has quite comfortably got this race win in the bag. If he can keep this up. But he's worried about Bitto though. About 2 seconds. Can Bitto find 2 seconds in 2 laps? It's possible. Sorry, I'm getting my words out today and it's a bit difficult, but there we go. Bitto's setting purple sectors, so we could see him getting a faster lap. And we're already on lap 39. Look at that. The last few laps have gone insanely quickly. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. But I think Bitto's going to stay third. But I think Bitto has served his penalty. So and he doesn't have any other penalties due to that. I wonder if Higgsy's got any penalties though. We'll find out. Dragon going towards turn 12 was to back into turn 13 and 14, then into turn 15, 16, and then into Raskas. Dragon has driven very well today, and he is going to be taking his first ever win in the RS Tier 2. A well-deserved victory for him. We've got Higgsy getting... Ooh, Higgsy wins. No, Sig wins. What? That is interesting. So Sig, getting no penalties, takes the race win. Dragon, I think, had 3 seconds worth of penalties. So Higgsy's second, Dragon third, Bitto fourth, Pazik fifth, TX sixth, Ben has retired, but I think he'll still be classified, I'm not entirely sure. And yes, it was a surprise winner. But it just goes to show, I did say earlier on in the stream, penalties. If you get less penalties, you're more than likely going to be having loads of rewards. And that is what Sig has done. So well done to Sig there. So it was Higgsy, then it was Sig. And there was a lot of Sig fans in the chat, and I'm sure you'll be happy with that. But anyway, TX has the game's driver of the day. Who has been your driver of the day? I'm going to let it to you to this week. And a Haas car takes the victory. With Dragon, I believe, in third or second. Not entirely sure. We'll find out. We'll get the results in. So, Sig takes the win. Higgsy second. Dragon third. Bitto fourth. Pazik fifth. TX fifth. And I believe due to the fact that everyone else behind him was a lap down, Ben does get classified. So he gets his first points of the season. Set in P8. Kluzza 9th. Hydrodan in 10th. And your retirements. Nixana, Valu, Burke, Bosvik and Ryzen. And well done to Hydrodan for getting his first points of the season as well. I don't think Sig was expecting that. And well done to Set. He's got his first point of the season as well. So the ones I said needed their first points, both Verstappen, Set and Hydrodan, they got their first points. So well done. Someone said they had a crush on Sigo. Okay. Interesting. But anyway, that is it then for European Racing Series. We really hope you enjoyed it. I have as well. It's been a lot of fun to commentate on you all, but we're going to find someone to raid. So